Hey there, it's Joe. So are you wondering how a rotary broach works and how to use it? Well, let's take a look at that in this video. First, let me say that rotary broaches are great tools for forming all kinds of internal and external shapes, from hexes, squares, splines, etc. But let's take a look at what's going on here fundamentally. And the first thing I want to do is move away from the rotary broach and go to a typical broaching application and see how that applies to what's going on. So this is your typical straight push broach. This is for a keyway, and it's easy to see how this works, right? You've got your pre-drilled hole, you put this bushing in the hole, and then you've got your broach. And obviously if you try and go form that shape, the keyway that you're forming with a single cut, it's going to be too much force and you're not going to be able to do it. So what you do is you've got this broach here that's got all these teeth on it. They're each staggered and each one takes a little bit more than the other until you wind up with the shape that you're after, which is the keyway. So that's simple enough, right? Now let's take a look at how that applies to the rotary broach. First off, let's assume that we're not going to spin this tool, right? We just want to push it straight in. As we looked at before, that's going to be too much force and it's not going to be able to do that. Now you're wondering, well, how does that rotary action reduce the force applied, and how is it able to shape that shape that you're going after? In this case, a hex. Well, this tool is in this holder at a 1-degree angle, okay? And that 1-degree angle is key. If I take this screw here and I put this tool on here at a 1-degree angle, you can see that only one edge is contacting the part at any given time, okay? And so it's able to just scrape that one edge. Now, if I rotate this part, it introduces another edge and it scrapes that edge. So if I just keep rotating and keep pushing, it's going to keep introducing a new edge and just keep scraping on down. And it's going to form the shape that you're going after and just keep pushing that material down the part. And that's how a rotary broach works, okay? You have to have a pre-drilled hole, preferably the size of these flats across here are a little bit bigger. And then you also want to have a chamfer for this tool when it engages the part for a nice clean engagement. And you need to spin the part and push it, and it's going to make the shape that you're going after. Now, it's important to understand that because you're pushing the material down there and it's not removing the chips, that you're going to wind up building chips down here in the hole if you're doing an ID broaching operation. So you need to drill that hole a little bit deeper than you're broaching, and you can also go back in later and remove that material with the drill. So you're wondering, well, what RPM and feed rate should I use when I'm broaching? Well, a good starting point is around 1,000 RPM and 5 thou per rev. You can go a little bit faster than that depending on the material that you're forming, or you may need to go a little bit slower if you got a harder material. You can always refer to the tool manufacturer and get a more accurate guideline on what you should start with, but if you just generally want to have an idea, about 1,000 RPM and 5 thou per rev. So now you're wondering, how do I set up and use this holder? Well, this holder, while it holds this tool at a 1-degree angle, it needs to hold the cutting tool, this part right here, on center. Alright? So over here is going to be off center, right here is going to be on center. Now there's two different kinds of rotary broaches you can get. You can get the non-adjustable kind that are preset, and the adjustable kind that you need to adjust on the machine. Most people tend to have issues with the adjustable kind because they don't know how to adjust them. So I would recommend getting the non-adjustable just to make your life easier. The non-adjustable, these broaches are sold in standard lengths, okay? And these are already set so that this edge right here, the cutting edge or the shaping edge, is on center with your spindle or your lathe, and you don't have to worry about what's going on. But if you have the adjustable kind, a lot of guys make the mistake of dialing it in back here where it's easy to dial in, and then they have issues with their broaching operation and they don't know what's going on. Well, what you need to realize is, again, you need to dial it in out here where the actual action is going on. And the way you do that is you're going to take a gauge pin. This is a 1/2 inch diameter on this holder in this tool. So you take a 1/2 inch gauge pin, and then you're going to take that to a height gauge, and you're going to mark where that cutting edge is. You're going to put that gauge pin in the holder, and you're going to dial it in at that gauge length, okay? And then your tool is going to be on center at the forming edge, and you're going to be good to go. So I hope this information was informative. Thanks for watching, and take it easy.